Hello everybody, how are you tonight? Welcome back. My name's Michelle Dewberry. This is Jubes & Co keeping you company till 7 o'clock tonight. Peter says Bill knows, Michelle, but he just doesn't want to say it. He says Bill knows that this is a catastrophic government, but you just don't want to say it. Is he right?
No, I don't think it's a catastrophic government. It's facing challenges, and it needs to make. It has made progress, and it needs to make further progress. But the biggest criticism I would make of this government is inadequate, inept and ineffective communications, and it needs to put that right.
Maggie says, I feel that Keir Starmer is a hypocrite. He attacks Nigel Farage on a personal basis at every given opportunity, yet complains when members of his cabinet come under fire. Hey, I tell you what, Maggie, you just prompted a thought in my brain, actually. Did you see that interview? I think it was yesterday with that NHS doctor for a different channel. We don't watch them. We watch TV News, thank you. And anyway, what he was saying, he's a brown person, he's a Muslim, and he feels unsafe in this country. And Keir Starmer basically turned around and said, well, yeah, but that's because of Reform UK and other right-leaning politicians sowing racist rhetoric and all the rest of it. Did you see that? And if so, what did you think to that?
I didn't see it, but I can understand anti-Muslim hatred, because when you see Muslim terrorists, when you see a government that's trying to impose Sharia law, when you see Muslim rape gangs...
The government's not trying to impose Sharia law. That's utter rubbish.
No, when they allow Sharia courts, when they're trying to impose Islamophobia laws, when they're allowing Muslim rape gangs to get away with it, obviously there is Muslim hatred. That's all they see. You can't blame them, because some Muslim communities come to this country and expect the country to change for them. And when it doesn't, they're called racist. But there's nothing racist about trying to protect your values, British values and way of life. It's called patriotism. And that's something that Labour have to recognise. We are not a Muslim country, and those that come here who are Muslim have to recognise that and not try and impose their way of life on others.
And I think Reform needs to learn that taking individual crimes by individual Muslim people and then aligning that with the whole of the Muslim community is wrong, reprehensible, and it is racist.
But we don't do that. But we don't. I'm Muslim myself. No, we don't. I don't blame my father or my family for the Muslim rape gangs. That is a particular group of disgusting men.
Absolutely.
And it's got nothing to do. Absolutely. But your party looked it over, and your party is still trying to cover it up. Yes, they are. They're trying to silence them. So when you have
this government is trying to change the law to allow previous cases that had been turned down to be properly investigated, and thousands of cases are coming forward.
Why was it turned down, Bill? Because your councillors and your MPs and your party looked it over. That's why. And it's only now that you're under public pressure to look it over that you're opening it up again.
I've debated this issue with you before, Layla. Go back to the 2012, 2013, when Keir Starmer, as Director of Public Prosecutions, was one of the first people to grip this issue and say there's a real problem with grooming gangs and we need to overturn the law.
He wasn't part of the Labour Party then, and 250,000 girls were groomed and tortured under Labour constituencies, and your councillors and your MPs looked it over, looked the other way to protect their votes.
True.
So when the public see that we have a political party that is pandering to a Muslim vote, debating whether it's a criminal offence to criticise Islam, allowing Sharia courts to flourish, and then overlooking Muslim rape gangs. And then we have a prevent system that is actually chasing so-called far-right fantasy crimes and denying
the biggest number of referrals to the prevent programme are on the far right.
Well, that is a problem, because we have had no terrorist attacks in this country from the so-called far right. We have had it from Islamic terrorists.
What about the guy who murdered Joe Cox? What about the man that murdered Joe Cox?
Listen, I'm not overlooking that. It was a terrible thing.
You just overlooked it.
No,
you just said there's no evidence of far-right extremism, and there was a far-right extremist who murdered a Labour MP.
Relax.
Yeah, I'm not relaxing, because I get very angry when you disgracefully misrepresent the picture.
Are you saying that far-right terrorism is a bigger danger to this country than Islamic terrorism? Is that what you're saying?
I think they're both a threat and a danger to this country.
Do you think they're an equal threat?
And I actually think...
Wow. So you're comparing one horrific death to July 7th, the bridge. You're comparing that to one death. We have ISIS. We have so many Islamic terrorists. We have the Muslim Brotherhood that has infiltrated this country through the boat. And you are saying that Prevent should focus on far-right extremism.
No,
you have lost lost the plot, mate. You've lost the plot, Bill.
I'm talking about the referrals by the agencies to the PREVENT programme, and the majority, or the biggest number, are on the far right. I actually think... Hold on.
Defunct. PREVENT has no use.
You've got to stop interrupting.
Big tech has turned your phone into a surveillance device, harvesting your data, tracking your location, and selling your information to corporations. Unplugged built the Upphone to fight back. It's the only smartphone with hardware-level privacy protection, completely blocking data harvesting at the source. It features a physical kill switch that cuts power instantly when you want to go dark, giving you control big tech took away. Unplugged puts privacy and sovereignty first. The Upphone is built to British standards, designed to keep your data in your hands, with independent servers, its own app center, and no corporate gatekeepers. You can access what you choose. No censorship, no app bans, just freedom. Everyone else is playing by big tech's rules. Unplugged rewrote them. The Upphone runs on an operating system with 0 backdoors and a firewall that blocks thousands of tracking attempts every single day. The Upphone includes a host of unique security features. The device can be set to have its memory wiped regularly, and if someone demands your PIN code, well, you can give them a false PIN that will wipe the device. It's called Emergency Reset. Privacy isn't a feature with Unplugged, it is the foundation. To get yours today, click the link in the description now.
Yeah, in terms of PREVENT, the gaping hole in the PREVENT programme is actually people, not far rights, not Islamists, it's people who have no terrorist ideology. And Axel Rudikabana was one of those, and we need to change the reform process so that it can go after people like that.
Lalia?
We cannot have a PREVENT programme that ignores the massive threat from Islamic terrorism in this country. And we cannot have a government like yourself that completely ignores it and deprioritizes it and says that far-right, so-called far-right fantasy extremism danger outweighs Islamic terrorism. That is a very dangerous threat worldwide.
How has the government, through the PREVENT programme, deprioritised the threat from Islamist terrorism? Give me some practical answers of how that has happened.
PREVENT is saying that the biggest threat to this country is far-right extremism. You just said it yourself.
In terms of the numbers of referrals, that is true.
Well, then, PREVENT is useless, because I can tell you that the biggest threat to this country and people's safety is not from so-called far-right extremism. It is from Muslim terrorism who want to change the way of life and come here with the sole aim of committing a terrorist attack. It's definitely not far-right extremism. Since Joe Cox, which was a horrific killing, we haven't had one single incident. How many have we had from Islamic terrorism?
That's not
really,
true.
What else? What other terrorist attack have we had?
Right,
Name one.
Do you know what? Don't listen to political rhetoric and ranting. Just go through the number of referrals from people of concern to the PREVENT programme because of genuine concerns about their propensity to commit acts of terror. And it is an evidential fact that the biggest number of those are on the far right. Do I minimise the referrals for Islamist terrorism? Of course I do not. That needs to be tackled as well. And the third category, which isn't currently covered, is people of no ideological bent, like Axel Rudikabana, who we need to grip and need to get a hold of.
Bill, the fact that there's more referrals for far-right is meaningless. That completely ignores the point that PREVENT is useless. When PREVENT is only going on that, then PREVENT has no use. We have a huge risk of Islamic terrorism in this country. And the fact that PREVENT is focusing on some fantasy far-right extremist risk is really endangering people. And that has to be recognised. Yes, there is a gap with Axel Rudikabana, I admit that. And he should have been referred, and there is a problem when you don't have some kind of ideological terrorist, and I think terrorist intention, but I do think perhaps we need to redefine what terrorism is. For instance, the mass stabbing on the train
is another example that wouldn't have been caught by Prevent.
Should be classed as terrorism. Acts of Rudicana should be classed as
hold on a
terrorism.
minute, because the train stabbing, I just need to come in here. The train stabbing, that is obviously an ongoing case. We don't know that fellow's motives yet, so we need to wait and see on that one. Anyway, carry on.
But mass murder...
Michelle, there's no suggestion whatsoever that there was ideological backing for what he did.
I didn't say there was or there wasn't.
Yeah.
What I said
we don't know yet. We don't know yet.
And it's a live
We don't know yet.
Okay.
So that's why I'm trying to be careful on that one. And also, I do need to make a few other points, actually. When it comes to MI5, their caseload, it is predominantly Islamist terrorist activity that they are across. And also, there are so-called far-right terrorists or wannabe terrorists that do, of course, get sentenced in our jails. There was a case just a few weeks ago, actually, mid-October, where 3 guys were sentenced to a combined 29 years in prison. But I always find it fascinating, and it's actually very interesting to hear you as a Muslim yourself, actually, because I hear all of this anti-Muslim hatred all the time. It's actually interesting to hear you acknowledge that many people... they see the rise in Islamist attacks and all the rest of it, and that is what often makes them wary of Muslim individuals, not as a collective, but often as the individuals. It's interesting to hear
Michelle,
that.
I can't blame people for having... I can't. As a Muslim, I hate the people who we see, the Muslim rape gangs, the ones who want to commit terrorism.
So do the vast majority of Muslim people.
Sorry? You think the vast majority of Muslim people are the rape gangs?
No, condemn the rapists.
Yes. So, but when you have a government that covers it up, and then you have a government...
There is not a government that covers it up. This is a government that has sought to expose it.
No, you haven't.
And bring about change. This is a government that has used the law to bring thousands of cases back to reinvestigation.
And why were they not investigated in the first place? Why were those poor girls
this government wasn't
left
in
to
power.
slaughter?
This
That's
government
why.
wasn't in power.
Yeah, both parties are complicit, in my opinion.